Okay, so my other video posting is about 10 minutes long. So I'm going to go into another detail. So in 2019, when I was incarcerated, I had borrowed my mom's car to go to the hospital. My stepdad reported it stolen. So I was afraid of the police. I was not, a criminal other than I had, just suspended license, just how it all started. Well, so I just got divorced and I couldn't afford nothing. And I came here. I left my husband to come help my mom with my nieces. I made a promise I'd move back home, and I did just that. There was a lot of chaos in the family. So, and then just things went crazy. It's getting worse and worse. And I found out my daughter had a diagnosis of a rare genetic movement disorder. I had got pregnant, after being married 11 years, and I had a miscarriage. That was devastating. I went through it, okay, but I'm not, I'm not a victim. I'm just my testimony, okay? I'm just trying to tell you what God has done for me. With that being said, when I was incarcerated, the last time, they put me in a crazy pod, okay? And I was quiet. I wasn't combative or, well, maybe I was a little crazy, but I wasn't. I was in a fight or flight mode. I had been out in the streets for 3 months. I didn't know anything about the streets. How to deal with people on drugs and shooting up and all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I resisted, falling into any of those traps, to the point where I just didn't even eat. I was starving by the time I went to jail. I was actually so hungry. I didn't care what they gave me to eat. I ate it, and plus I needed more. I was 125 pounds by the time I went to jail, okay, because I was starving. So hungry. I needed food, water, comfort, sleep. I mean, it was just bad. I didn't know what to do out there. There was nowhere to turn but within. I'll have me and God, me and the Most High. And everyone I thought wanted to help me wanted to hurt me. I learned a hard lesson about the world. And there's times I couldn't even get a glass of water. So I was run off like I was a dog, like a rabid dog, by a man. I was just asking for some water and to use the phone, and he'd go there, I'm going to call the police. And I was walking, my tongue was stuck to my lip. Yes, this is in America, Pensacola, Florida, the Bible Belt. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm walking, and I'm at my last leg. I see a car shop. Same thing. They wouldn't help me. I kept going. Luckily, this man that was older, white man, was in a truck in the backyard doing some work or something. He talked to me, and he gave me a couple bottles of water and let me use the phone. All I needed was some water and a phone, okay? I literally went through hell on earth. And, if hell and real hell is like hell on earth, you don't get water. That was just like a prelude of what it would be like, okay? So, anyways, by the time I went to jail, like I said, they had put me in a crazy pod, okay? But they were giving me no medical care, no help. They were giving me food that was rotted. They were messing with my food. They were provoking me to no end. They were not letting me out of my cell. At first I was quiet. I was calm. I was just trying to figure out, what do I do, And then eventually I called suicide, went downstairs to the infirmary, and it was worse down there in the infirmary where you get medical care. They weren't giving me medical care. It was so bad that I didn't even have toilet paper to wipe myself. I ended up with an infection down there, and I had to show myself, and I hate to even say this, but this is the truth. To the flat where they give you your food just to get the nurse's attention when she come by. She finally started, oh my God, I had to show her my area. I'm like, look, ma'am, like, hey, this hurts so bad. They weren't letting me out to take a shower or nothing. It's like they wanted me to be completely unseen. I felt like I was being held hostage. And I'm like, why am I still here? My stepdad dropped the charges. Why am I here? I don't understand. I was so confused. And then, things got real crazy in there. It wasn't by me. It was, It was just, I had to do what I had to do to survive in there. And, and there was at one point, this officer, I kept testing the spirits while I was in there. God says, test the spirits. And I did with this one officer. I took part of my Bible and I hid it in my jumpsuit. I flooded my cell so I can get out and take a shower. And I knew if they put me in the shower, I'm next to the nurse's office, I could scream for help. So I did. I flooded my cell, pushed the water into the hallway, okay? And I took part of my Bible and I hid it. And I went in, and they put me in a shower cell. They told the sergeant said, give her a shower. Well, he didn't give me a shower. They cleaned my cell. He told me to cup up. I told him no. He said, cup up. I started screaming for the nurse. And then then I knew he was about to get mad because I dealt with this one before. I pulled out my Bible and I started reading, for it is written. I don't know what I read. I just read what was on the page, and that made him so angry. He opened the door with him and a young lady officer, shoved me down into the shower floor, okay, with my face down on the floor. And I told him, you have no soul. You look away like a dog because you know you're wrong. You have no soul. And he said, you took my soul. I said, what? You know, like, what the hell is wrong with this person? That's when I realized this place is wicked. Escambia County Jail is wicked, okay? They pepper sprayed me. The first time I remember they pepper sprayed me, my whole body was, they told me to cup up, but I was scared. I don't know why I did this, but I turned around and I ran to the corner and I dropped my clothes. I was completely naked and I crossed my arms and they pepper sprayed me from behind. I was not even combative. I was just scared. I was in fight or flight mode. I was not bipolar. They wanted me to take pills to make me sleep and this, that, and the other. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking anything. And because I wouldn't do that, they would not even give me regular medical care. Like, I had to, like, beg. Eventually, they gave me Ensures 2 times a day to help. You know, I told them I need more food. I'm 125 pounds. I'm 5'10". I'm starving. That's a big issue with my behavior. You know, they're not giving me toilet paper to wipe myself. They're not giving me showers. You know. And eventually, like, I remember asking to go play basketball. I knew I needed some sunlight bad. Like, I'm like, I need to be in the sun. And when I found out, you know, there was a basketball court. So I did. But they made me give them my Bible. I said, well, no, you can't separate me from my Bible. I kept saying this, okay? Well, they said, no, we'll give it back to you. I thought to myself, no, they're not. They're not going to give me back my Bible because they know if I read from it that they start freaking out. Okay? Especially if you say it with authority. So, anyhow, I went out and played basketball, enjoyed the sun. I had a great time. But it worked out because other people were able to go play basketball. A lot of them didn't even know they could do that. Okay? Wednesdays in the infirmary, Escambia County Jail, you're allowed to go out. Each dorm has a, you know, they're supposed to come and ask you. You're not supposed to have to ask. They're supposed to come and ask you. They do the bare minimum, okay? Jail's already enough hell, but, you know, you come out worse. You don't come out better. It's set up that way, okay? It is set up for you to come out worse. But the goal is for you to turn back to the streets, you know, or mental health facilities or drugs because of the trauma. I said, you know what? Fuck that. I am going to overcome this, and I am going to be a walking testimony, and I'm going to show others how to come out of this. I have to. I'm going to use this to my advantage. All things work together for good to those who love the Lord. So, I mean, that's just a little bit of my story, but, you know, even the ones who aren't so innocent, okay, they were innocent at one point. They were, okay? So, everyone deserves redemption. You know, anybody who lied or slandered my name or involved in gossip about me, you'll have to deal with God on that, okay? I've already forgiven you. I don't care. Never did. Never did care. Because I know me. If you don't even know your own self, don't talk about other people. I don't partake in those things. I don't give a fuck. I don't. What I care about is your heart, okay? Your heart. Alright? I love you. Bye.